Hello and welcome. You're watching UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. These are the stories making the headlines.
The cousin of the murdered nurse Karen Cummings says she wants to be a voice for women killed in Northern Ireland.
The hardest part is knowing she was taken from us, and it's trying to live without her.
Searches take place in Dublin by Gardaí investigating the disappearance of a young boy who they suspect has died.
And 6 cars have been burned in an arson attack in Ballymena in what's been described as a disgusting hate crime.
Also tonight, while little Dáithí McGowan has been waiting for a new heart, he's captured ours. We take a look back at his campaign to change organ donation laws here.
And it's starting to feel rather autumnal this week, and we have some wet and windy weather on the way tomorrow. I'll have all of the details later in the programme.
The cousin of Karen Cummings, who was shot dead in her own home in Banbridge in County Down almost 9 months ago, has told UTV that the lives of her family have been turned upside down. 2 men have been charged with the nurse's murder.
Kelly Malcolmson wants to speak up for Karen and for all the other women who've been killed in Northern Ireland. She feels more needs to be done to stop violence against women and girls. Sarah O'Kane reports.
Happy birthday to you!
She was loved by everyone. She was just so fun. She would lift you up on your bad days, always up for the crack.
Dear Karen.
Nobody knew it, but this would be Karen Cummings' last birthday. Months later, the mother of 2 was shot dead at home in Banbridge in December 2024.
Our lives have been completely flipped upside down. The hardest part is knowing she was taken from us, and it's trying to live without her. Is the pain every day is just, we're not even 9 months in and they're still only coming to terms with it now. And it's wee things like her daughter just went back to school. She got her GCSE results. It was her birthday. It all happened at once. And it's those moments where you really notice her absence.
Karen and Kelly were like sisters. Kelly got the call that something was wrong and rushed to the scene. She was there when Karen's son Curtis was told his mum was gone.
I just sat on the sofa and just held him in this disbelief that those words were actually true.
How much do you miss her?
Lots. I didn't actually realise how much I leaned on her until I no longer have her. After she passed away, the amount of messages I got from people to say that Karen was their nurse looking after their child, and those are special memories.
2 men have been charged with the 40-year-old's murder, and since Karen's death, 3 more women and 2 children have been killed in separate incidents.
My thoughts and prayers go to every single family member that has been affected, because it's the most horrific thing anybody will ever have to go through, and you don't expect it to happen at your own front door.
Do you think Northern Ireland has a big problem when it comes to violence against women?
I do. We are one of the unsafest places for a woman to live. So yes, I do.
We can never bring Karen or any of the other 27 women back. But what we can do is be a voice for them. This has to end now.
Our voices need to be heard. And I want to be a voice for Karen and all of those women. They can't use their voice now. We have to. And if I can help anybody, my job's done.
Kelly Malcolmson ending that report by Sarah O'Kane. A search for a boy in Dublin who's not been seen for several years and is feared dead has so far been unsuccessful.
The new Garda Commissioner, Justin Kelly, says investigators have been unable to identify any information on the boy's current whereabouts or evidence as to whether he is alive. Here's our correspondent, Gareth Wilkinson.
The missing child hasn't been named, and today the focus of the search for him shifted to open ground in the Donabate area of Dublin. Excavation equipment has been brought in to help forensic officers. The little boy should be aged around 7 now, but Gardaí don't expect to find him alive. When last seen, he lived in a local apartment and was aged 3 or 4, yet the alarm was only raised last Friday by Ireland's Child and Family Agency Tulsa. It's understood that followed an application made for benefits in the name of the child. Fears for his safety emerged as no records of him ever attending school could be found.
And Garda Síochána has been unable to either locate the boy or identify any information on his current whereabouts or evidence that he is currently alive. Tragically, investigating Gardaí believe that the boy is deceased. Yesterday evening, 1st of September 2025, investigating Gardaí took control of an open area of ground in Donabate, County Dublin, which will be subject to a search in the coming days.
The search has tragic echoes of a case of another missing child presumed dead. It's just over a year since Gardaí began looking for Kieran Duran, a 6-year-old who was last seen alive in 2022. Now the Republic is rocked by the disappearance of another little boy, so far missing without trace. Gareth Wilkinson, UTV Live.
There's been widespread condemnation after several vehicles owned by Filipino workers were set on fire at a property in Ballymena.
The arson attack happened on Sunday night and the police are treating it as a racially motivated hate crime. Their landlord told our reporter Katie Andrews that he's fearful for his own safety and for the safety of his tenants.
Flames of racial tensions in Ballymena town now spreading into the countryside. 6 vehicles burnt and destroyed outside this farmhouse close to the County Antrim town where Filipino nationals live. Police treating this as a racially motivated hate crime. They all moved to Northern Ireland for better work opportunities and are employed by Right Bus. I spoke to one resident who didn't want to appear on camera because he is too fearful of what could happen next.
Don't date us because we came here only for work, not to steal from government. We pay to the taxes. We came here with clean papers. That's why the company recruit us.
And you are a father of 2 and your wife is over in the Philippines.
Yes.
When you told your wife what had happened, what did she say?
He's terrified and scared because I'm been far away from them.
Sam Carson, who is a farmer and landlord of the property, says he has been the victim of an online hate campaign because he has offered a home to Filipinos.
Sunday night, about 10 o'clock, a tenant in the house alerted me that we were under attack. We didn't know what was happening, so we came out and all my tenants were out and the cars were already on fire. Well, my tenants are very frightened, okay, because they've been here 2.5 years. Their cars are sitting outside their house. We're in a peaceful setting here and they're suddenly in flames. That's a terrible experience.
And why do you think your tenants are being targeted?
Well, because they're foreign nationals. Because, you know, they're different. And possibly because it has been widely published on online sources that I house foreign nationals.
Politicians condemning this latest attack, describing it as reckless.
Well, certainly this doesn't reflect Ballymena. I condemn the attack. I've always been very clear throughout the summer of unrest that violence serves no purpose. It distracts away from the core issues that exist in this town. This town is welcoming to people that want to come in, contribute to work, and indeed the victims in this attack were people that were employed locally.
We need political leadership to call out these racist attacks, to say they're disgusting and that they must stop. But we also need intervention from the PSNI. We need to bring those who are responsible for these attacks to the courts and to justice.
Police say inquiries are ongoing and have appealed to anyone with information to come forward. Katie Andrews, UTV Live.
And in a statement, Right Bus said company representatives spent much of today with employees who were affected by the incident at their home and that the company strongly condemned violence of any kind.
Politicians say constructive progress has been made following a number of sectarian and racist incidents in North Belfast.
Community representatives, police and politicians met in a bid to find a solution to intimidation issues in the Old Park area. The UDA, which had been blamed, has denied any involvement. Nathan Hanna reports.
A united front today, representatives coming together to send a strong message that intimidation will not be tolerated. It comes as a number of Catholic families in the Annalise Street area were forced to leave their homes. Police have confirmed there were 3 reports of racially motivated criminal damage in the same area of North Belfast since last Thursday. Loyalist paramilitaries have been blamed, but the UDA has denied involvement. In a statement, a senior West Belfast UDA source said the UDA has not issued any threats in a North Belfast housing development nor been involved in any attacks. It added it is aware of community tensions over neighbour disputes, but the UDA has not become involved. The statement continues, the UDA emphatically did not enter into agreement with any self-appointed mediators or anyone else in respect of Clanmill tenants. There were never any threats issued to lift. Any claim of any deals with the UDA is completely false. The meeting today, which involved political parties, statutory agencies, community organisations and some residents, was said to be constructive. It's understood a number of practical steps will now be taken in the coming hours and days to provide some assistance to families.
We need to have the means and support to alleviate a housing crisis in North Belfast and beyond, but that those bodies that do have those powers, Housing Executive and Housing Association, will be prioritising those families that need to be moved. And the fact that we have families that are barricading themselves into their own homes to provide some level of comfort and security is something that should shame and bring focus to all of us.
We had some actions that came out of the meeting today where we're going to continue to work together, both from a political point of view but also from community organisations as well. That's not to say that things are all settled for now. There's still a lot of work to do. We've had commitments from the Housing Executive, Housing Association and from the police, because it is very important that residents do feel protected.
DUP councillor Jordan Dorn was also present but left without speaking to media. The PSNI said every individual has the right to live in peace, free from fear, in their own homes. Where those rights are threatened, police will leave no stone unturned in seeking to identify perpetrators and bring them before the courts. The Housing Executive says it is working with its tenants and will continue to do so, with Clanmill Housing saying it is working to identify suitable alternative homes. The focus now is on how to help those affected, and a hope that the tensions which have been bubbling since May will calm, allowing those living in fear some much needed relief. Nathan Hanna, UTV Live.
Waiting lists in Northern Ireland are a growing concern. Now, new figures released by the Department of Health suggest that some children here are waiting for up to 7.5 years before they are admitted for surgery.
The Children's Commissioner has described it as a concerning situation. Tori Watson reports.
From the cradle to the grave. That's the support supposed to be provided by the health service. Waiting time lags in the system have long been a problem across all trusts, but newly released figures paint an even bleaker picture, particularly for some of our youngest. In fact, in Belfast, one child has been waiting for 10.5 years for an initial pre-surgery consultation.
It's a pretty grim picture for children in Northern Ireland. If you're asking a child to wait in pain or with a condition that may accelerate because of waiting, then I think that that's a fairly intolerable situation for us to be in.
The data was revealed through an assembly question which Mrs Dodds put to the Health Minister. It shows waits of 7.5 years for surgery in the Belfast Trust and 6 years in the South Eastern Trust.
Now, to be fair, those waiting lists are over a huge number of conditions, but nevertheless, children are young, they're growing, they're developing, and they need to be seen quicker than these figures would indicate.
That transition between child services and adult services is one that we're concerned about, and in my role as Children's Commissioner, I have a duty to keep under review the services that the children and young people are receiving.
In a statement, the Health Minister outlined that work is ongoing to reduce all waiting lists across Northern Ireland. He added that there is very real progress being made and that focus and investment can change lives. Lengthy waiting lists are the result of multiple factors, from staffing difficulties to funding shortfalls. And while our most vulnerable continue to wait, concerns about their conditions continue to grow. Tori Watson, UTV Live.
And our health correspondent Deborah McAleese joins us now. So Deborah, we're not just concerned about children on waiting lists. From what I can understand, there's pressure already building in A&E departments, and it's only September, the winter hasn't arrived.
Well, there's always pressure within the emergency departments, Rose, no matter what time of the year it is. But yes, doctors that I have been speaking to have said that they are very worried, given what they are seeing now at the start of September, about what those pressures are going to look like for patients and staff. If you take Craigavon Area Hospital as an example, this morning in the emergency department there, one patient had been waiting for almost 3 days. And staff are telling me that's because there just aren't enough beds within the hospital. One patient has been waiting nearly 5 months for a care home place. So this evening, the Southern Trust appealed to the public for support to help discharge loved ones whenever they are well enough. But this is a problem for all of the health trusts. It was just last week when the Royal College of Emergency Medicine described the situation in emergency departments as dangerous. And looming in the background of all of this is the threat of potential strike action by nurses and health workers, once again over pay. Now, it's my understanding that there has been no move yet by the executive to resolve this pay dispute with the unions, and the last thing that the health service really needs this winter is strike action on top of pressures.
Deborah, thank you very much.
A County Antrim man who was handed an 8-month sentence after installing a covert camera in his estranged wife's home and a tracking device in her car has had his jail term replaced with community service and 2 years on probation. Sean Dugan of Clooney Road in Ballymena was sentenced in June. Today, Antrim County Court heard the 41-year-old's mental health had deteriorated through the course of his marriage, leaving him delusional.
Belfast City Council has agreed to purchase one of the city's oldest buildings. The Assembly Rooms on Waring Street is a 250-year-old Grade 1 listed area which has been derelict for over 2 decades. The council will now take forward plans to conserve and reuse the space.
Time now to look at the headlines making tonight's ITV News at 6:30.
Here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the programme, the death toll continues to rise after an earthquake in Afghanistan. Here, the actor turned hypnotherapist turned politician. The Green Party has a new leader. Golden age, the 89-year-old athlete who won big thanks to his wife's kidney. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Ireland will go to the polls on Friday, October 24th, to elect its next president. The news comes as Fine Gael confirmed that former Minister Heather Humphreys would be the party's candidate in the election. She joins the only confirmed candidate, left-wing independent Catherine Connolly. Well, our political editor Tracy McGee joins us now, so at last we have a date.
Yeah, it's been a pretty lacklustre campaign up until now, but it's starting to quicken. We didn't even know when it was going to happen. All we knew was that it had to happen before Michael D. Higgins steps down on November 11th. Now, the way this works is that the local government minister, James Brown, has to bring a memo to the cabinet, and we're told that's going to happen tomorrow. And as you say, the date is going to be Friday, the 24th of October.
And we now have another candidate.
That's right. Up until now, we've only had independent left-wing candidate Catherine Connolly. Fine Gael has announced that Heather Humphreys will be their candidate. Now, the party has had a bit of a wobble because their original choice was former EU Commissioner Mairead McGuinness, but she had to step down through sickness. But they have decided, they have plumped for former Minister Heather Humphreys. Now, she's an interesting candidate. She comes from County Monaghan. She has held a number of different briefs and candidates. She is a practicing Presbyterian, and as you'll see, she has taken part in quite a number of different events here in Northern Ireland, including laying a wreath at the Cenotaph. Now, for all those reasons, the party will see her as the perfect candidate for this sort of a job.
Have any other parties declared yet?
Well, we're still waiting on Fianna Fáil. If Micheál Martin had his choice, it would be former Dublin GA manager Jim Gavin, but an MEP, Billy Kelleher, also fancies his chances, so that's going to be a contest. Sinn Féin have yet to announce what they're going to do. Now, we're being told that the parliamentary party is going to meet on Monday and Tuesday of next week to discuss the matter, but they're going to push it all the way to the 20th of September when they'll hold an Ard Comhairle. So they're going to get in just under the wire because nominations close on the 24th of September. So if they do decide to run a candidate, it will be very short, sharp campaign.
Tracy McGee, thank you.
As we at ITV mark our 70th anniversary, we've been reliving some of the news stories which have become part of our history.
Tonight, Sarah McCarran looks at how the long campaign for change to our organ donation laws was spearheaded by the family of a little boy on the heart transplant waiting list.
Dáithí McGowan and his family became regulars on our screens because they were at the heart of an argument to allow Dáithí's law to be implemented.
Dáithí McGowan has grown up in the spotlight.
Organ donation saves lives. Dáithí McGowan, UTV Live.
And this baby with a heart defect grew into a real fighter, battling health conditions and the political system here. He had one message.
Organ donation saves lives.
Organ donation saves lives.
Organ donation saves lives.
UTV followed him and his family as they brought the campaign for soft opt-out organ donation legislation to Stormont, but that ended in heartbreak.
Unfortunately, that's not to be, and we're not at all surprised. But
the family then turned to Westminster via the then Secretary of State, Chris Heaton-Harris. Pressure mounted, and that did work.
Are you saying to me that Dáithí's law can potentially go live in spring 2023 though?
Come on! Yes! Yes!
It was a proper roller coaster of getting this law through Stormont, then Stormont collapsing, then the Secretary of State, Chris Heaton-Harris, coming in at that time, and basically, you know, I think I said at the time, it was like we had moved mountains, and I believed that then, and I believe it now, that I can't believe that, you know, when that letter came from Rishi Sunak, who was the Prime Minister at the time, and he wrote in the letter that, you know, that the British government made this extraordinary intervention for an extraordinary person in Dáithí. So even just seeing that in ink is just, it's unbelievable. But the most important thing in all of this is that lives have been saved along the way.
Dáithí's law is going through. Dáithí's law is going through.
Dáithí's law means that since June 2023, every adult in Northern Ireland is an organ donor when they pass away, unless they have explicitly chosen not to be. In the first year, 64 organ donors from Northern Ireland saved 158 lives. There have been lows on the journey to get here, but so many highs too.
Although Dáithí's condition and Dáithí's surgeries and waiting for the gift of a new heart has been really difficult in some ways, it's also give him the opportunities because he is such a special wee boy and he has done such special things. Meet the whole Liverpool team, you know, to have the freedom of the city of Belfast when he was just 6 years old. The President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, you know, praising him at a garden party, you know, to having the royal family write to him and, you know, praise the work, the sports teams that have got involved. So from 1 week to high-fiving Mo Salah, to the next week he could be, you know, lifting the Sam Maguire in Croke Park. I'm just delighted that other people and other organisations have seen that as well and have helped made our lives that wee bit easier.
While Dáithí has been waiting for a new heart, he's captured ours.
He did it! He's the magician!
Sarah McCarran, UTV Live.
No, it's been a really lovely day in lots of parts of Northern Ireland, so we're going to have a look at the latest weather forecast now.
In fact, the Northern Lights were seen across parts of the UK last night, and indeed also in County Donegal. Here's Louise with the details.
Feel good weather is set to continue throughout the day. UTV weather, sponsored by the Grant Irona R290 heat pump.
Hello there, good evening. We had a number of scattered showers today, but we also had a few bright and sunny spells. It's all changed tomorrow. Wet and windy weather returns, some heavy showers merging to longer spells of rain, blustery winds around the coast, temperatures in and around average for this time of year, but a very unpleasant day to come tomorrow. All due to a low pressure system pushing through tonight, bringing more in the way of cloud. Heavy showers on and off in the overnight period. Isobars are tightly packed there, indicating the brisk winds, but we will have a brief ridge of high pressure settling things back down again on Friday and Saturday ahead of further rain on Sunday. 1 or 2 scattered showers this evening, clear skies for a time. Then we have thicker cloud pushing in ahead of that band of rain moving in overnight. Heavy rain on and off through the night, scattered showers in places, blustery winds around the coast, and temperatures holding up under all of the cloud cover, 12 to 14 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow gets off to a cloudy, murky, damp and grey start. Plenty of rain around, some heavy bursts on and off through the day. Into the afternoon, scattered blustery showers will follow behind. We will have a few brighter breaks, but it's a very unpleasant day. Winds gusting 25 to 35 miles per hour, and temperatures down a few degrees on today, highs of 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. Across the rest of Ireland, it's a very unsettled day. Similar story, heavy rain in places, scattered showers moving eastwards into the afternoon, brightening up behind that. A few blustery showers around the coast, temperatures reaching highs of 18 degrees Celsius. The aurora was visible last night and under clear skies for a very brief period of time tonight. There is a chance of seeing it again. As we move into Thursday, we can expect further blustery showers at times, 1 or 2 thundery downpours with the risk of some hail. That's the latest. Bye-bye.
UTV weather, sponsored by the Grant Irona R290 heat pump.
And just before we go, a chance to remind you about our programme, Dogs with Jobs. It's going to be back on our screens tonight.
And this evening we meet an amazing hearing dog helping a therapist with her hearing loss.
And we'll be catching up with a conservation detection pup in training. So that's Dogs with Jobs tonight at 8:30.
And that's the way it is in Northern Ireland this Tuesday tea time. Now don't forget, keep up to date with on our website. Just search UTV News. I'll be back with the late bulletin at 10:30.
The ITV Evening News continues now with Mary Nightingale. From all of us at UTV, have a good evening.
Good evening.